What's up, everybody? Just like usual, after season and mid-season updates, I like to do a loadout video, which I'll link down below, a long-range video, which I'll link down below, short-range video, and sometimes a sniper support video. Today, we're going to go over the short-range options, and because I refuse to use shotguns, just like always, it's going to be only SMGs, but people don't really use shotguns that much anyways, despite that big buff. So, let's go ahead and jump into my top 10 SMGs right now. Alright, and starting at number 10 is the good old Cold War MP5. At the beginning of Season 4, it got a small buff. There's a few SMGs that could slot into here. You could put the OTS as the 10th best. So argument for the Bullfrog. Some people would put the Milano. It's just not good enough up close for me for it to be on there. Modern Warfare MP5, there's a handful, but Cold War MP5's got a spot in my heart. It was pretty much the SMG I used all through Cold War, and so that gets at number 10. The build is the same as that I always run. Agency Suppressor, Tiger Team Spotlight, Bruiser Grip, 50-round drum, and the Raider stock or the combat stock, depending on preference. You could also drop Tiger Team Spotlight, Bruiser Grip, or Raider stock, depending on your preference for Airborne Elastic or Serpent Wrap, just to give you that faster ADS time. And you always want to run no barrel, as usual, just as a reminder, because the iron sights are more open on blueprints if you don't run a barrel. Whereas if you do run a barrel, they're that full close circle, blueprint or not. Number 9 is the STen. I would have the STen higher, but its time to kill just doesn't feel great to me, and it's got a 36-round mag, and unlike the Type 100, that 36-round mag doesn't also come with one of the fastest time to kills for an SMG. But the build the way it is the max movement speed gun in all of Warzone. And so if you're better at movement than you are shooting, this STen is probably for you. And we have the recoil booster just like every SMG. The Guywin short barrel, it gives you better ADS speed, aim walking movement speed, and sprint to fire speed. Although the sprint to fire speed doesn't matter because we have Gung Ho. Mark 6 Skeletal used to only give you ADS speed, but it does give you movement speed now. That's overall move speed. If you're just looking for aim walk move speed, the SG98 Compact is a good option without hurting your hipfire accuracy. Then you're going to want to go the 7.62 Gorenko 36-round drums because it increases your movement speed. You could go for more ammo in like the 50-round drum, give you a little bit better time to kill, but you don't get the movement speed. In fact, your movement speed's hurt, and we're going for the max speed build here. You want to go lengthened or subsonic, really up preference. Taped. You're going to see taped on like all of the Vanguard SMGs on this list because it gives you that movement speed, sprint to fire speed, weapon swap quickness. The groove grip's also decent because it gives you the ADS firing move speed. And this thing doesn't have a whole lot of recoil, so it shouldn't really need any of the recoil grips. And then Gung Ho, you can run acrobatic because it gives you move speed and sprint move speed. If you're going for max move speed, definitely want to go acrobatic. But Gung Ho gives you the instant sprint to fire speed, while also meaning you can hip fire while sprinting around at your insane movement speed. And then Quick, of course, gives you more sprint speed, and that's what we use on all the Vanguard SMGs. Number 8, it's going to be the short barrel MP40. It's the same build, recoil booster, short barrel, your choice of optic, hand stop or strife angled. You could run the Carver as well. 7.62 45-round mags, lengthened, tape grip. Then you want to go either remove stock or the Krausnik folding. The remove stock hurts your recoil control, so with the short barrel, it's not a bad option to go with the folding. Anything else that hurts your recoil control also hurts your move speed more than it's worth, in my opinion. So I would stick with the top 2 stocks. Though you could go with like the VDD 34 unpadded, which gives you overall better recoil control. And then momentum. There's no other really movement-based perks. So I would go with momentum. You could go perfectionist for that recoil control. You could go steady for ADS firing move speed. But I just like momentum for that move speed after kill. So when you're pushing whole teams, you can either get out or reposition. And then quick once again. 7 is the well gun. The well gun maybe could be higher on this list a little bit, but I think the top 3 are definitely solidified, and the top 5 is pretty solidified, and the well gun with all its changes since its release just doesn't quite fit there like it used to. And it's the build that I've been recommending for a while, the recoil booster, the short barrel, slate reflector, remove stock, Mark 6 skeletal, because even with the short barrel, this thing doesn't have like any recoil. If you're struggling with the recoil, Two tips you could do is either go Strife Angled, Carver, or Hand Stop here, and then switch the Guywin short stock to Shrouded is another good option. You lose that fire rate, so the TTK is a little bit slower, but then it just doesn't move at all. So, way you can combat recoil with these two attachments. Then the 7.62 40-round mag. The 40-round mag doesn't give you the best move speed and fire rate, but you get very similar, if not the same time to kills with both the 9mm 64-round mag and the 45 caliber 48-round mags. But you do get more recoil and slower movement speed and a slower fire rate. The major difference is the drop-off, but you do get more benefit from using the 40-round mag. And then taped grip, gung-ho, instant sprint to fire speed is always nice. Fleet, acrobatic, and momentum are also good options. So is frenzy. If you're really pushing teams, momentum and frenzy are good options, but the instant sprint to fire speed is hard to ignore. And then quick once again. Number 6, Type 100. Arguably, this could have been in the top 5 because it still has one of the best time to kills of any SMG, but the mag definitely holds it back. It's got good damage range as well, still one of the best in the game. But that mag really is a problem if you play anything besides solos or duos. And so we have it as we've had it for a long time now with the recoil booster, the rapid barrel, your choice of optic, the skeletal stock. If you're struggling, because it is a little bit bouncy, you could consider the weighted stock. And if you just want to get rid of that horizontal bounce, the T100 stock isn't a bad option either. But the skeletal stock gives you that sprint to fire speed and move speed that we want. Underbarrel, Strife Angled, Carver, or Hand Stop. I'd really recommend the Strife Angled or the Hand Stop for SMGs, not so much the Carver, unless you're hip firing with it. Then 36-round mag. That's what gives it its really good time to kill, and it's really good damage range, so it's kind of necessary. Plus, the 48-round mag is really in your face. And lengthened or subsonic, taped grip, gung-ho once again. You could go acrobatic for movement speed and sprint fire speed, sprinting move speed. You could also go fleet for weapon swap quickness or move speed, and you could go vital to up your time to kill. But with gung-ho, you don't have the sprint to fire penalty, so that kind of makes it for the time to kill difference. And then quick once again. Then top 5, like I said, this is pretty solidified. You could maybe sneak 6 or 7 in there, being the Type 100 and the well gun, but I think the 5 is pretty solidified. 4 and 5, I think you could switch in any order, but 1, 2, and 3 are 1, 2, and 3 no matter what order you put them in. The PPSH from Vanguard is often forgotten. It's got good damage range, it's got a really good time to kill, and it always has, and it's an absolute hipfire laser beam. It's the closest thing to what feels like 100% hipfire accuracy since the Modern Warfare MP5, and I think that's just been forgotten about. I mean, you're going to want to run the recoil booster. You want to run the 230mm barrel because it gives you the hipfire accuracy, hipfire recoil recovery, and it increases your fire rate. This is a time where you want to use the Carver foregrip, like I just mentioned. If you're hip firing, you want the Carver. But if you're trying to do an in-between build, I would recommend going Strife Angled or Hand Stop. But I would stick with the Carver for the PPSH. Then you want to go with the 71-round 7.62mm drum. Here I actually went hollow point because if we're going to hip fire with this, damage range isn't an issue, and the hip fire and the TTK will benefit from hollow point. But if you don't want to lose that damage range, once again, go subsonic or go lengthened. And then here, you could go taped grip. It's still going to be really good at hip fire, and you get that movement speed, and you get the sprint to fire speed, which hip fire is more affected by sprint to fire speed than ADS firing is. But I stick with the pine tar grip to give us even better hip fire accuracy. Same thing with remove stock. Gives you hip fire accuracy, movement speed, sprint to fire speed. All really matters in the hip fire build. And this gun's still good even if you don't hip fire in this build, if you need a little more range. But in that situation, you might not want hollow point. But if you're going to push, this is a really good pushing gun. And then fleet, also very good for the pushing. You could go steady, but the plan is to hip fire, so it's not really worth it. So fleet definitely wins out there. And then quick once again. Number 4, this gun is so slept on right now, but the UGR is actually really, really good. And in fact, in their new recommended feature, they actually do recommend the UGR to people. People are completely ignoring this gun, but it's still got the really good Cold War movement. It's got a good time to kill, and absolutely, I think it's an SMG you should be trying. And it's the same Cold War build as always: the Grew Suppressor, Task Force Barrel, Tiger Team Spotlight, Bruiser Grip, and Explosive Flechettes. If you have preference to have a stock, either the SAS Combat stock, or sorry, in this case the Spetsnaz stock, or the KGB Skeletal stock, you could drop the Tiger Team Spotlight or the Bruiser Grip. I would probably drop the Tiger Team Spotlight, because where you lose that aim walking move speed, you can get back in the Spetsnaz stock and the KGB Skeletal stock, but the Bruiser Grip has the hip fire accuracy that you can't really get back with one of those stocks. And so if you're going to drop one, I would drop Tiger Team for one of the stocks. Then the top three. The top three, I think, is absolutely the top three, purely based off of preference, even though I think number 1, because it's TTK, is better than 2 and 3, does win out overall, despite its nerfs coming. But let's focus on number 3. We have the Marco. You can run the Marco hipfire build. The hipfire build does have, I still think, the fastest time to kill for SMGs, but then you're completely locked into hip firing. It's not very good at range, and it's just not something that I enjoy. I'll link my Marco video down below if you want to see the hipfire build and kind of go over the 2 different builds at the same time. But here we have the single gun build. It's a recoil booster, the Amaretto 342. This build just has absolutely 0 recoil, like, at all. So this is the build that I prefer. There is some, like, the 240mm gives you the better fire rate, so that's also something to consider. But then you have recoil, whereas the 342, along with these other attachments, have no recoil. Then your choice of optic, as always, I'm on the slate reflector. The Perfetto Estada stock helps you get that absolutely 0 recoil. I mean, there's not vertical, there's not horizontal. You could almost shoot this thing completely across the map. Otherwise, if you're fine with a little more recoil, Amaretto FR stock. If you're doing the hipfire, if you're doing the akimbo build, you want the folding stock because it's the one that helps with hipfire accuracy. Also, for the hipfire build, you want the 285 barrel or for the akimbo build, because it's the only thing that helps with hipfire accuracy. And then hand stop, strife angled, Carver to give you that no recoil. SG98's a grip that I have, an underbarrel that I've been forgetting to mention in this video, but it's also becoming very popular because of that aim walking move speed. But I would recommend, if you're going for that absolute 0 recoil, strife angled, Carver, or hand stop. And then you want to go the 8mm Nambu 64 round drum. It gives you the most amount of ammo. You have a little bit less damage range than the 9mm 48 or the 8mm 36, but you have the most rounds, and the only real difference to TTK is the damage drop off. Length under subsonic again. Whoops. Taped grip. Aiming stability, move speed, it's simple. I don't think you should really have any recoil at this point, but if you still feel like you got recoil and you want none, obviously go hatched or polymer, grooved, one of those. Gung-Ho, once again, Gung-Ho always wins. Obviously, if you're doing the akimbo build, you're going to run akimbo. Frenzy's a decent option, and so is momentum for when you're pushing, but no sprint to fire speed, just unbeatable in my mind. And then quick. Number 2 and number 1, I think, are more of the debate for number 1 than the Marco is, but number 2 is going to be the Armawera. There's a build that I was trying out from Jowo that I just didn't like as much, where you have the short stock and then you have the SG98, but it's just really bouncy, and I can't really shoot that gun. This is me personally, past 10, maybe 15 meters as accurately as I can shoot this gun, despite this one having attachments that hurt your recoil. I just feel better when it starts to get a little distance out. But it's a recoil booster, the body 315mm. Once again, the Jowo build is the short, and that's actually the one I have in my loadout build. I wanted to be different in this video, just to present both builds, but I'll link my loadout video below, as I mentioned earlier. Strife angled, Carver, or hand stop, depending on preference. I like the strife angled. Vertical is not a problem. Horizontal is more of a problem. On Jowo's movement build, he does have the SG98. And then 9mm 60 round mag is the way to go. It's what everybody runs for the most part. You can run the 8mm curves, but then you're going to want to start going after recoil attachments because it's very bouncy. Lengthened or subsonic, your choice of optic. The stock's another one. I run the folding stock. It hurts your initial firing recoil, but it doesn't hurt your sustain, so that's not a big deal. Jowo's build has the TA skeletal. That gives you better aim, walking, move speed, and helps your initial fire and recoil. If you're struggling on the recoil, body DA is a good option. So I would recommend for the build that I'm presenting either the body DA or the SA folding stock. And then taped grip, but if you're struggling with the recoil on these builds, the grooved is always a good option. Hatched and polymer are all good options for that recoil control. And then I use hard scope just to help balance out that recoil a little bit, but if the recoil is not a problem, definitely go vital. If you're going for that move speed build, go with steady, and then quick once again. And number one, the king, despite its multiple nerfs, is the BLINX. The BLINX is still the best SMG in the game. They've been trying to nerf it. They tried to nerf it again yesterday, and apparently the nerf didn't really take, other than now the Garanko hurts your move speed like it's supposed to, even though it doesn't say it on there. Whatever, this game is a mess. But it's the same build that we've been running now. Recoil booster, the Bergstrom 17-inch F3 barrel, the Strife angled, Carver, or hand stop, depending on your preference. 7.62 Garanko 54-round mags, lengthened, your choice of optic, lengthened or subsonic. Taped grip. Once again, if you're struggling with recoil, you can go polymer, grooved, or hatched. Remove stock if you are struggling with recoil. Go with the CR10 stock. It helps your recoil a lot. Then I have fleet on here. Could go steady for the ADS firing move speed. If you're struggling with recoil, go with the perfectionist. But one of the top 3 perks is definitely where you want to go. And then perk 2, quick as always. And those are my top 10 SMGs. I personally think these are the 10 best. Like I said, 10 spot's really fluid between 5 or 6 total SMGs. 1 through 3 I think are kind of fluid, but more the BLINX and the Arma are number 1 and 2 depending on how you want to put it, and the Marco's really close competition. Definitely try out the UGR. I definitely recommend it. But that's my top 10. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know when the sniper support video is coming. I'm planning on doing a Titanium Trials video probably on Thursday when Titanium Trials comes out for loadouts. And let me know down below, am I right about SMGs? Am I wrong? Am I smart? Am I dumb? Let me know in the comments below. And I will have my loadout video, my long range video, and my Marco video all linked down below, so check those out. And I will also have my Twitch link down below. I streamed like 5 or 6 days out of the 7 days last week. Probably going to be streaming at some point today, and probably a bunch this week. So go check me out on Twitch. I also have my Instagram and TikTok linked down below, which I post on pretty much daily, so check those out. And my Twitter's linked down below as well. But thank you for watching. I will see you on Caldera, Rebirth Island, and Fortune's Keep. Get frying. Have a good day. Bye.